Good morning. God bless you. First, I want to give honor to God for waking me up this morning. The topic today is a very fun topic for me. I'm going to try to make it as brief as possible. I'm not going to try to bore you, but I'm going to try to give you little nuggets. So, today we're talking about the stock market. But before you invest your money in stocks, you need to understand that there's a psychology of the market that you need to try to gain comfort with before you invest because it's psychological. Money is emotional. So you need to understand how to handle that. All right. I'm going to start off with a quote by Warren Buffett. He's one of the richest men in the world, and he made his money off of investments, investing in stocks. His company is called Berkshire Hathaway. And you can look them up. They own a lot of companies, a lot of stocks and companies. One of the companies that you might be more familiar with is Geico. I believe they still own that. That's their company. So he made his money off insurance companies, investing the float, which is the difference between what he actually had to pay out and the difference. And he reinvested it. And over time became a billionaire. All right. But you need to understand why he became a billionaire. There's a reason. He has some characteristics and thinking faculties that basically helped him catapult to that level. This first quote says, "I will tell you how to become rich. Close your doors. Be fearful when others are greedy." And the other part is that you need to be greedy when others are fearful. That is psychological. So when the market goes up, you need to know how to handle yourself. When the market goes down, you need to know how to handle yourself. People panic when news come out and fear sets in. So when the market shows negative things, people sell to protect their loss. When excitement is in the market, when something is going up, people buy, which means they buying too high. So when they get frantic, when fear comes in, they just sell because they want to protect. I mean, they probably selling too low. So people think that, it's about buying low, sell high. That's true, but you can also buy high and sell low, which is called shorting. So, but anyway, here's another quote by Warren Buffett. He says, "If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die." I think that's a very powerful quote. And you need to find a system and a strategy to help you build income, passive income, something that can work for you. And we're talking about stocks. So you need a system with stocks that can help you generate that type of income. Next quote is, he said, "I always knew I was going to be rich. I don't think I ever doubted it for a minute." So his thinking, he believed in himself. And you need to do some research on him. You could look him up, Berkshire Hathaway, and start reading his annual reports, because in his annual reports he talks about a lot of things that will once you read it, you will see. It's not a typical report, but it's very informational, and it gives you a view of how he thinks. Now let's talk about the thinking. Preparation for you to invest is very important. Before you invest, you need to understand your thinking, how you feel about the market, how you feel about the company, why you're buying that stock, what the stock represents for that company, what do they sell, how do they make their money. But you need to think about you. You need to think about, what about your risk? Are you too emotional when it comes to money? If you invest your money, do you get nervous? Does it stress you out? How do you feel? You need to understand how you respond to risk, and because everybody can't handle risk, especially when it comes with their savings. That's why people give their money to money managers, and they charge you fees just so they can kind of manage it and you trust them. But most of those guys, they get their licenses, but they don't even do it for themselves. They just invest in your money. So that's different. I think it's better if you invest your own. You get more experience. You might lose some money to learn, but every game you got to spend money to learn. So I don't really think you should depend on other people to invest your money. Okay, so companies. Let's talk about what companies are. Companies are basically it's just like anything you see every day. Don't make it all complicated. It's just an organization who sell products and services to get a profit. That's it. All right. So now at every quarter, every 6 months, every year, they have to report. Every quarter. That's 4 quarters in a year. And in that 4 quarters, they have to do reporting that accountants, auditors have to complete, and those are called 10Ks, and you can find that on sec.gov. And you can look up the report, read all the information that's in that audit report to help you gain comfort. The Security Exchange Commission governs investment company. They protect the investors from companies from doing fraud or misleading you, because you're putting your money into their company hoping that you could get a return. Nobody wants to not get a return. No, some people want dividends, some people want capital gains, so it's various things that you look for when you invest. All right, so companies are just organizations of people selling services, and hopefully they increase over time. Now, just because the stock goes up, you may receive capital gains. You might see a difference in the price. That means people value the company and it's fluctuating over time. Some companies are more stagnant. They don't really fluctuate as much. Some fluctuate a lot. Different markets dictate different things in different times of the year. So if it's a bull market, which means it goes up, that's what bull means. That's a different type of market. If it's a bear market, that means it's going down. That's a different type of market. And if it's a pig market, that's when it's flat. It's not going anywhere. So you got to understand not only your psychology, but the psychology of your stock and the psychology of the timing in the market. All right, because there's different things that you can do. Okay, so I think what's important for you to understand is, and Warren Buffett talks about this a lot, is understanding the management of the company. Who manages the company? Because that's really who you're investing in. The management dictates. It's like they're a captain. They're steering the ship, and they make the decisions to help the company become more profitable. And you can see all the information within the 10K, the annual audit report. So in the audit report, you're going to find financial statements. The financial statements just shows over a period of time how much money they made, how much were the expenses, and different things like that. Talks about the competition, talks about the overall market as well in that audit. So the money that's made in that period is kind of giving you, it's like taking score, basically. Okay. And then because of these various things, the stock price fluctuates. The stock price will actually fluctuate based on this environment. And then you also understand that there are market forces. You have different things that can affect your company. Environmental, macroeconomics, microeconomics, too much competition, not enough suppliers, too much suppliers, not enough demand, too much demand, not enough supply. So all those things can affect. So you need to kind of gauge what's going on with your companies. Then history. You need to understand history of the market. Where we've been, where we are, what can happen, and just prepare yourself. Just like the Great Depression, nobody really knew that was going to happen the way it did, but some people did because they kind of saw it. But a lot of people was unprepared, and it was devastating. People really suffered a lot, lost a lot of money. You got to understand that there are also different types of stocks, different types of companies. So this is just a general way for you to get exposed. I'm not going to go through all the A, B, C, D, all the Z. I'm going to just give you basics to understand. So with that said, let's talk about stocks. And stocks, and you also have options. Stocks, like I said, is a part of an ownership of a company. So if you buy one share, that means you have one piece of how many of a share. So if there's 1 million shares, you have 1 divided by 1 million. That's your piece of the company. So that's pretty much the basics of what you have. Now, when you have a lot of money, and if you can over time buy a lot of shares, your value, your portion goes up. So think about it like that. Now, stocks can go up and down. Usually people use options also as a way to increase their capital investments. Now, options have 2 components to it. And the reason why you use options, I particularly like to use options with stocks. I don't just buy options just to hold them. I like to use them to protect my position with my stocks. So what I mean is, in the options, you can have a call and a put. Option to buy is a call. Option to sell is a put. Now you can research this yourself. But basically what I would do is if I buy a stock at $10, if I want to protect that it goes, say if it goes down to 5, that means I could buy a put option at 10 to protect if it goes down to 5. So if it goes down to 5, I can exercise it and sell it for 10. But what I paid was a premium to pay for that option. Now, once you research it, you'll see what I'm talking about. Call, on the other hand, if I had a short position, which means that I sold it at a high price, and then if it goes higher, that means that I'm going to lose. But if I actually put a call on there, then that means that I could buy it back at lower to protect the increase in price. Once you research it, you will see what I'm talking about. Now this slide, these are pictures of men who are successful in stocks. This is Chris Gardner. He's in Chicago. He has a company called, I think it's Rich Gardner Company. He's an investor. He's been an investor for a long time. He had a movie called The Pursuit of Happiness. The movie with Will Smith talked about how he went from basically rags to riches. And he used a lot of the financial tools to do that. George Soros, this man next to him, he's a billionaire, made a lot of money in the market. And again, that's Warren Buffett. Now, here are some books that you can use to kind of begin your journey. Now, this is a lot of information. Take your time. It's not going to happen overnight. You got to really work at this. Anytime you learn something new, give your time to adjust to it. So the first book I would recommend as it relates to stocks will be this red book called The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. The Intelligent Investor is the book Warren Buffett refers to because that's the book he studied. And this is the man who taught him, Benjamin Graham. And then the next book I would read if I were you would be How an Economy Grows by Peter Schiff. And then that book is very important because it tells you basically that sacrifice is the way that any economy is built. You got two men who hungry, two men who got to fish all day. One man said, I'm tired of fishing for 8 hours. I'm going to sacrifice eating, and I'm going to go try to build a net out of these leaves and these branches. And then I'm going to build this net, and I'm going to sell it to you while you catching fish, and you just pay me in fish. So now I don't have to fish no more. I sold you the net. Now I'm going to go build a cooler to store the fish, and then I'm going to charge you to store your fish. So I sacrificed, built the net, sold it to you. You fishing, you working, I'm building. I got that cooler. Now every time you come to me, you got to pay me for fish for the net I sold you, and then you got to pay me in fish to store it. So this is how economy is built. That book goes into detail. Then you got Crash Proof. This is Peter Schiff again talking about the macro factors, the macroeconomics that goes behind the money and the economy. And then it's another book called The Death of Money by Jim Rickard. This is probably a higher level, advanced way of looking at the market and money and currency trading, which is another level of trading. It's not stocks, but it's another way of understanding the relationship between currencies. A lot of people make a lot of money in that market, but it's a lot of risk. You can lose really quick. And then you have Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I would recommend that as well. That'll give you another way of understanding the mindset that it takes to be an entrepreneur and to be an investor or a business owner and to be financially free. So I gave you some nuggets. I gave you a little bit. Now, if you got any questions, just you could respond or email. However you want to contact me, just let me know because these are basics. I can't really answer all the things, and I don't want this video to be too long. But I want you to know that you can do anything that you put your mind to. The Bible says, so a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So if you want to be wealthy and take care of your family and give back to your community, you can. But this is just a tool. All right. All right. God bless you. And tomorrow I will be talking about real estate. So here's my website, www.bipolarpreacher.com, and you can hit me up on Instagram. I'm on there as Bipolar Preacher, and I'm also on YouTube as Bipolar Preacher. Please subscribe. Tell a family member and a friend, because I'm doing this as a way of giving a gift. You know, when you have a gift, the best thing you could do with a gift is to give it away. God bless you.